When it comes to Drake, the downfall is snowballing at full speed. After all the drama tied to ICEMAN Episode 3, his so-called ICEMAN's White Man project got thrown straight in the dumpster. That entire rollout? Finished. It's not touching daylight anytime soon. And just when people thought the chaos had already peaked, leaked Young Thug phone calls came crashing down like dynamite.
Tell about your DMs with Drake being leaked to the world.
Well, my DMs been never leaked.
There's a lot of people posting DMs.
I don't know why they leaked.
Y'all was saying some weird. Well, I wasn't gonna say
Hold on,
that. You my brother? No.
A lot of it was grand, but some of it
Why
was
would you
beautiful.
comparing briefs?
What?
In an instant, Drake wasn't just under fire. He was completely exposed, embarrassed, and dragged through the mud in front of everybody. And this wasn't just a messy look. It tied straight into revelations heavy enough to flip the culture against him permanently. This isn't some ordinary headline. This is career-ending fallout. Fans are watching in disbelief as rejection after rejection piles up, leaving Drake boxed in with no escape route. The meltdown is so massive that people are calling it the collapse of the century. What started as Episode 3 hype spiraled into a full-blown disaster that torched everything in sight. Drake is stuck on all sides, blackballed by the industry and ignored by fans who don't want music that doesn't hit anymore. This isn't a stumble. It's total destruction. The new releases tank. The leaks won't stop. And now the mask is ripped clean off. Drake's exposed as a phony friend and a selfish operator in the game. The image he polished for years is crumbling, and hip-hop is buzzing louder than ever. What makes this cut even deeper is it's not just Button critiques or Kendrick shots. This time, the blade came from Young Thug, the same guy Drake always backed publicly. And here's the irony. Thug's been drowning in his own storm of leaks and bad press. Yet in the middle of all that chaos, he still aimed smoke at Drake. That says it all. Across those leaked calls, Thug was catching heat from every angle. But notice the one detail. He never once threw dirt at Metro Boomin. He stayed solid, stood firm on loyalty. But when Drake's name surfaced, his tone flipped instantly. It all connected back to the roots of the Kendrick versus Drake beef, the "we don't trust you" saga with Metro and Future. And Thug didn't sugarcoat a word. From one of the most neutral voices Drake could have leaned on, the truth cut raw. What Drake was saying and doing wasn't just wrong. It was flat out dumb. That's not just critique. That's betrayal from somebody who was supposed to be in his corner. This info is so heavy it could nuke Drake's career beyond repair. Once fans lock in on the why behind his desperate moves, he may never bounce back. The ripple effect is already shaking the culture, and it's only spreading wider. I'm not about to drag you through all 27 minutes of Thug's leaked call. Half of it was filler. But the gems? They slice deep. In that conversation, Thug got brief on all the shady drama between Drake and Metro during the Her Loss run in 2022. Not long after, Metro dropped Heroes and Villains, pouring gas on fire. And the one song at the center? Trance. The same track tied to that infamous leaked Drake verse. Here's where it flips ugly. Drake was apparently scrambling last minute, begging Metro for clearance or a beat just to sneak into a collab with Young Thug and Travis Scott. It wasn't about artistry. It was about clout, control, and clinging to power. Thug was disgusted. To him, Drake's moves weren't strategic. They were desperate. He called it cold, fake, and flat-out embarrassing. Then he dropped the one word that shattered everything: stupid. That landed harder than any diss track. Because when loyalty collapses from the inside, it exposes just how fraudulent the empire really is. And Thug didn't hold back. He cut straight through with brutal honesty. "I don't know how anyone can even talk to Drake about music right now," he said. "Your mom is gone. She's never coming back. He's not in the right space. And you're gonna tell Drake, I don't like that. I ain't clearing it." That's a kind of raw reality that flips an entire image upside down. Then came the knockout. Drake's so stupid. Thug painted it plain. While others were battling real life, Drake was out here playing games, talking nonsense, and crawling back weeks later begging for the same track. That's not poor judgment. That's proof the collapse is already underway. That's shameless beyond belief. Thug doubled down and made it clear. If he had the choice, he'd ride with Metro nonstop, standing by his brother through one of the darkest chapters of his life. That kind of loyalty puts Drake's behavior under the ugliest light possible. Because let's be real, Drake's lack of empathy is glaring. Losing a mother is the deepest pain anyone can carry, And instead of showing love or even basic respect, Drake reduced it to music politics. That's not just cold. That's inhuman. When you see somebody act like that, the reaction is automatic. This dude isn't built like us. Aligning with a man who can't show compassion in a tragedy that heavy says more than any verse ever could. And the fact that it's Young Thug, a rapper people actually look to for wisdom. Putting this truth in the open makes it brutal. Joe Budden warned years ago, and now there's no escaping it. Drake just proved he values chasing a feature over respecting a grieving mother, and that stain will never wash off. That's exactly why the culture is walking away from him now. This isn't just another rap feud. It's unforgivable, and it highlights a flaw no PR machine can cover. And since the truth came from someone inside the circle, nobody can brush it off as gossip. That's why Metro, Thug, Future, and even Travis Scott are pulling back. They see what it really means. Drake isn't just selfish, he's toxic. And in hip-hop, no real rapper is rushing to link up with a man who puts ego over loyalty. Metro's circle has always stood on brotherhood, and this latest reveal only makes that loyalty look stronger than steel. Meanwhile, Drake is stuck in isolation. He's not only exposed as phony, but is quietly getting frozen out of the culture altogether. Behind the curtain, he's scrambling, begging for features, chasing any rope that might save his drowning career. But instead of pulling him up, the circus is collapsing back onto him. Even Rick Ross calling him white man says it all. Drake's image is officially in ruins. And when you peel back the fake snippets, half-baked drops, and cringe film-style gimmicks, the reality is brutal. This is Drake's biggest catastrophe since Kendrick buried him. Maybe worse than the Karen paperwork fiasco. Why? Because this time, Drake ran into the one monster he can't beat, irrelevance. That ICEMAN rollout, dead on arrival. Fans didn't even waste energy clowning it. They just tuned out. And for Drake, silence is lethal. What's clear now is that demand for Drake has bottomed out. Nobody's checking for him the way they used to, and the proof is written all over the reactions, or the lack of them. People laugh at a snippet for a minute, then forget it ever existed. That's cold. Because when Drake drops a track and it vanishes instantly, it shows his hold on the culture is slipping away fast. If he released an album tomorrow, it wouldn't go platinum or gold. It'd go triple wood. Pinocchio streams. Fake, hollow, embarrassing. And that's why episode 3 of the so-called ICEMAN saga fell flat on its face. Instead of bringing new fire, Drake recycled a track from his last project. Because deep down, he knows the truth. If he risks dropping something major right now, it'll flop harder than anything before. And the scary part? That next flop would be so bad it makes the last one look like a comeback. Drake knows the storm is here, and is stalling with all he's got. But the walls are closing in, and this time, there's no exit. This ICEMAN rollout is pure filler, mid-bars, recycled verses, Pinocchio gimmicks, and reheated leftovers on loop. At this point, it doesn't matter if you're a die-hard fan or a hater, the truth is obvious. The way he's fumbling, this proves where he really sits in the rap game, and it's no longer the throne. Drake's going to delay this project as long as possible, maybe forever. Because if he dared to drop it today, it wouldn't just flop, it would mark career rock bottom. And here's the kicker, it's not only about weak music, though that hurts too. The true nightmare is in the numbers. Drake built his empire on clout, streams, and stats, not artistry. So when the charts stop moving, his entire brand collapses. Even compared to For All the Dog Scary Hours, which barely got love, ICEMAN looks worse. At least Curiosity kept that alive. Now, nobody even wants to press play. That's the chilling part. Fans hear these mid-snippets and don't even bother roasting. They just move on. Let that sink in. An old throwaway project holds more value today than the big rollout he's trying to hype. That Part 2 track? Pure desperation. Drake is crawling back to old glory because ICEMAN has nothing left to give. That's not strategy, it's survival mode. Looking at the release calendar, one thing's obvious. ICEMAN isn't dropping anytime soon, and maybe never. If Drake put it out now, it'd be the nastiest flop of his career, maybe even the biggest flop of the year. September 19th, Cardi B's long-awaited sophomore album lands, backed by heavyweight label money and an insane promo push. Then September 26th, Doja Cat storms back with her label machine in full gear. Drake doesn't stand a chance lining up against her. And just when it seems like the ceiling can't crash any harder, it does. Because right after them comes the one artist Drake can't touch, not on his best day, Taylor Swift. On October 3rd, she's unleashing her new album, and it's already a cultural earthquake. NFL tie-ins, corporate endorsements, vinyl stacked to the ceiling, and CDs ready to fly. This isn't a release, it's an industry takeover. Built to break records, built to bury competition. And Drake? He feels it. That's why he's delaying, ducking, and hoping people won't notice how far his stars faded. With Cardi, Doha, and Taylor locking down September and October, the last major music window of the year is closed shut. Drake is completely boxed out. If he forces ICEMAN into that lineup, it doesn't just flop, it gets buried alive. And once that happens, the culture moves forward without him, leaving nothing but silence behind. When Taylor Swift hits the stage, Drake's Little ICEMAN saga looks like a circus sideshow next to the empire she's running. The gap isn't just wide, it's humiliating. To the industry, Taylor is power, value, and profit guaranteed. To Drake, she's a reminder of irrelevance. There was a time he could stand tall next to her release cycle, but that era is over. Her label is all in. Her first week is set to move millions, and Drake is left choking on dust. He can't compete. Not even close. Even if he waited a month after Taylor, her numbers would still dwarf his so badly he'd look like a SoundCloud act. And with the industry shutting down after November, his release window is shrinking fast. That leaves him with nothing. Drop ICEMAN, and he humiliates himself. Shelf it, and he proves the critics right. Either way, he's trapped with no door out. Let's not forget, he already dropped one album this year, and it tanked with career-low numbers. If that was supposed to be the better rollout, what chance does ICEMAN really have? Zero. Drake already burned through every trick, every gimmick, and the results are embarrassing. After flooding the culture nonstop for nearly 500 days, forcing quick comebacks and never letting fans breathe, the price tag finally hit. Overexposure, irrelevance, and collapse, playing out in real time. The gimmicks has been running since the beef ended are officially played out. Fans are done with the smoke, the fake hype, the empty promises. After one of the worst rollouts hip-hop has ever seen, ICEMAN has destroyed whatever buzz Drake thought he still had. His grip is gone. The panic behind the scenes is obvious. His team is scrambling, but every move only digs a grave deeper. At this point, the truth couldn't be clearer. ICEMAN ripped the mask off Drake completely. His chasing clout, hopping trends, throwing every trick at the wall, and none of it is landing. That leaves two choices. Drop the album and watch it crash into the date, or hide it forever and stall as long as he can. Either way, it's ugly, and the writing's already on the wall. Drake is ducking, hiding behind smoking gimmicks, while real stars run the fourth quarter. So while Taylor, Cardi, and Doha dominate charts, break milestones, and control the industry, Drake is missing in action. He's avoiding the numbers that will confirm what the culture already knows. This isn't just the worst fall in rap. It might be the ugliest downfall in all of music. From ICEMAN flops to Thugs leaks, the collapse is total. And at the core of it all, Drake's cold disrespect when a man lost his mother. That domino started it all. Pure ruin. And let's be real, why feel sorry? This isn't fate. This is Drake's arrogance, his choices, his destruction. If you made it this far, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join the channel membership for private videos, exclusive perks, and your name in the credits. And don't miss the video right here, where we break down how ICEMAN Episode 3 wiped out Drake's fan base and forced him to scrap the album completely. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.